Hey guys. Uh, so I was thinking about this podcast the other day and I was like, damn. I guess the good thing about not being all prim and proper when it comes to a podcast and having like the sound booth and the studio and all that bullshit is I can fucking take it wherever I want. Easily. I've recorded it at my old house. I've recorded it outside. I've recorded it in my car, some of it, at my mom's house. And now here I am at my best friend's house recording an episode. It's kind of cool. So, yeah, I'm back in New England. I traveled like I said I would. I've been here since... fucking Thursday last week. And already I'm hit with a bunch of, I don't know, feelings. And I've definitely gotten some downloads. I have. But I realized over the past couple of days, I've also been in a kind of like rest energy or like a reset mode. Just kind of enjoying my time with friends, just being in the moment, as I like to do, yeah? And just flowing along as the day goes. I'm going to tell you two things, though, okay? Two things. One, I am cold. Fuck. Oh, I am cold. But I knew this coming in. I did. I didn't forget. Actually, today is quite warmer than it has been, so I am all about that fucking silver lining. Thank you very much. And two, being back here. Being who I am now versus who I operated as mostly while I lived here. I don't know. I feel like my old self is like playing peekaboo with me, And I don't hate my old self. Like, I don't have regrets about where I've been, not bitter about any of it. I'm not. I don't know, I guess I know that there's parts of that weren't truly who I am or who I want to be ever again. And I guess, I don't know, I guess part of me was scared. Yeah, I can admit that. Scared that being here in this old environment, will bring those aspects out of me again. See, again, this is a learning podcast, right? I'm learning this ascension process, this new way of thinking, mindset, living, right? I'm learning this all along with you as I share it. So yeah, I'm open to those stumbles. So I started thinking about this, of course, and talking to my guides and, basically, in the nicest way possible, they fucking bitch slapped me. And they were all like, no, that's done. You learned, and you know that back then Jen is not truly all you are. And because I know, once the lesson is learned, truly learned, we don't fucking repeat it. We don't. So, I'm embracing life as it's coming at me. And I can't see any of it. I can't. I don't know what's to be. I don't know. I'm just embracing and seeing things as an observer of myself and my steps, and the big why of me being brought back here, to this location is still being shown to me, you guys. So I just released the fear of it all, and I just breathed, And so I did. I laughed at myself. I did. And it's important to laugh at yourself. It is. I laughed at myself and my humanity. I did. And I chilled. I chilled. Figuratively and fucking literally, you guys. Thank you very much. Dudes, I'm sorry, but I am really fucking cold. But anyway, it all got me thinking. And I'll start where I friggin' start and see where I end up. Okay? So yeah, let's go. Alright, so the thing that keeps sticking to me is peekaboo. I said that earlier, my old self peekaboo. Peekabooing with me now, right? But yeah, so I started thinking about peekaboo. And peekaboo has been around since the 1500s. It comes from a word used to describe clothing. It actually means to be see-through or open. And we've adapted it in many different ways to describe things. There's a boxing style called peekaboo boxing, right? And, there's a style of dyeing our hair, called peekaboo. And then, of course, it's that well-known children's game that, funny enough, we use to teach object permanence to children. But actually, with peekaboo, I think we've become better at hiding rather than showing our permanence when it comes to ourselves. Peekaboo is literally our first lesson in realizing our own consciousness of what is. So let's explore this a little bit in this episode, shall we? Yeah, so peekaboo being a game we play with little ones. Really the first game we ever play with babies, if you think about it. Spiritually speaking, babies are new souls. New source energies just entering into the art of being human. Babies are innocent, trusting. Now, we associate the word infantile, with the base root word being infant. We associate that with being immature in nature. But to me, it's truly about being as real as can be. Because the realest souls are the ones fresh from source. And when we exit our human mother's womb, we are the realest souls. We are the realest we ever will be before the world gets its hands on us. So, as we go through this topic, what we need to understand is that in the grand scheme of all that is, we, as humans, are forever infantile. Forever in a state of expansion, learning, relearning, and growing. That's partly why we indulge in peekaboo with our young, I think. Subconsciously, we are bridging the seen and the unseen. And the thing is the young child knows more about the game than the adult who is initiating it. See, the child delights in the hide and seek of it, all because as a newly integrated source energy, okay, the seen and the unseen still holds all that pure magic that we, as adults, are just viewing as a simple, infantile game. And the eyes of the young soul, the fresh from source soul, well, they devour the feeling of this because it simply feels like home. A home that they just came from. Pure energy. And isn't that a beautiful, familiar feeling? Home to embrace. I think as adults, we should peekaboo a bit more with our own soul and its true nature and intentions. Maybe then it will become easier for us to remember where we too feel most at home. Yeah? But honestly, I feel like we actually continue with a metaphorical game of peekaboo throughout our lives. I mean, as children, we're taught to hide those feelings that society deems unacceptable, to conform. As teenagers, we're taught that our confusion of what we are going through is not to be tolerated in this world, and we must hide who we feel we are, or who we are becoming. And so, a struggle of self sets in. Like, who we are isn't right. Peek and hide. Like, what parts are acceptable around what people. And this is where the masking of our true selves becomes our norm. So then, as young adults, we're taught to, stifle our souls in certain circumstances, and that maybe it's okay. It's okay to let little bits of our true selves peek out here and there, but only when we have felt secure enough that we are considered quote-unquote normal to others, or if we find those connections where we do truly feel at home. Otherwise, we continue to hide essences of our natural souls, and so it goes on and on as we progress through our lives, hiding and seeking. Peekaboo, I see you. No, you don't. Fuck. I don't know. It's just all, just fuck. But one thing too, okay? One thing I've come to know. One thing about being in this world. There is always suffering. Differing levels, of course, but it is always there. And the trick is learning from it. Embracing the knowledge around the suffering, not the actual suffering. Because we're taught to be strong in the face of suffering. We've all heard the phrase, suffer through it, right? But no, we should not view it like that. We shouldn't. Suffering is not a superhuman ability. Growth comes when you know this. Just because you can take it doesn't mean you should. That's the lesson of suffering, you guys. Learn from it, release it, heal. Suffering is not a fucking superpower. So stop fucking treating it like it is. You're not all powerful because you deal with suffering. And by that I mean, don't dwell where you're meant to flee in whatever way that speaks to you. Okay? So yeah. So often we decide to continue on in our games of peekaboo. Dwell in our self-imposed suffering, if you will. Except one day, one fucking day, your soul cannot play the game of this anymore. the floodgates that have been partly blocking the seen and the unseen just won't hold anymore. And the soul pushes us through the need to hide behind the metaphorical hands over our faces and our eyes. Our eyes, all three of them, begin to open and see clearly for the first time together. The two that see and the one that knows. And all that we tried to hide was actually always meant to be seen. Our truest self in its wholeness. That we were supposed to embrace ourselves as the young, innocent one that delighted in the joy of the world as a beautiful thing. But over time, instead, we began allowing the quote-unquote hands to cover and uncover the truth of what has always been staring us in the face. The fact that no matter how long we try to fight what we are, who we need or want in our lives, the fact is our energy actually sees through those so-called hands over our faces and knows when the divine time is right to forever remove them, so we no longer feel the need to cover up what the world has programmed us to believe should be unseen. And I'm getting the third eye, okay? The knowing eye. We have to stop looking at it as a gateway to knowing all that is out there. We need to see that universal truths come from inside us. This knowing eye opens fully to show us that the knowledge is not out, but in. That's why it's called insight. A great knowing is called insight. And insight brings clarity. See? If we can embrace the fact that we know more than we have been taught to believe, that we technically can see the unseen within us all along, if we just release the blocks we have allowed to stop us, that's when we can get clearer and clearer about our true nature. Believing is seeing. Now, we fully realize that we were meant to be this dualistic energy all along and embrace those shadows we were taught and tried to hide. You know the fucking ones where we tried to conform and fit and fold where we were meant to freely fly. We see now that those so-called hands are gone from our eyes, that those actions we were partaking in were also playing a game of peekaboo with our hearts, trying to get us to see all along that we needed those dark times to learn just as much as we needed the light. Because really, only through much suffering, the acknowledgement of why the suffering is there, can we fully understand what happiness means to us individually. Yeah? If we can seek to understand our stressors, that's how we prevent them from consuming us. Remember, understanding is a gift. We grow and advance from that gift. So don't ever shy away from asking yourself, is what I'm doing supporting me? Is it supporting me in the ways that I want it to? And most importantly, what is this discomfort trying to show me? And I'm going through my own transitions as we speak, right? So again, I share my process with you. I pull my energies every day, as I said before, using different cards and talking to my guides and shit. And I've been asking those questions of my guides and myself lately, especially lately. I wanted to share with you a piece of information that came today from one of my cards, and it was this. If there is any part of you struggling to surrender the conflict between old and new, what was and what needs to be, between passion and duty, being creative or rational, between a new role or an old identity. Know this. Even the conflict serves. Open your heart. There you'll find the bridge to understanding and trusting. There is a perfection there, and it always has been and always will be. So do not worry. All is happening exactly as it should. That really helped me with my understanding of things that are happening in my life. So I hope it gets to anyone who needs to hear it today as well. Okay? So yeah. When we finally give up the game of peekaboo with our lives, that's when we are fully alive, seeing the unseen and unseeing the seen. Our trueness is finally known because we begin to comprehend that we are just consciousness and that anything we think is from the mind. You start knowing that nothing can come at you, hurt you, whatever, if you know who you are. And that's empowering as fuck, you guys. It is. There was one thing I read before, and it was all like, we only have problems when we believe we are human. We only have problems when we believe we are human. And I was like, fucking, huh? I was like, what? But then it clicked. See, we have problems when we associate the self with the body and the mind. I mean, think about it. And I'm laughing because what I'm about to say is contradictory, but shit, whatever. If you don't think, if you stop thinking, then where are the problems? You see, the problems are in your thoughts. You think things about your body, creating problems. You think things about your finances, creating problems. You think of your past and your tomorrow. You're realizing that all you're experiencing are thoughts. What else would they be? There are no thoughts. There is no mind. And this is the cosmic version, or the great divine game of peekaboo that source or God or divine energy plays with us. And we seek to understand the karmas of why. But what we actually need to do is just stop. Just become the consciousness and allow the world to be. The world is going to do what the world is going to do. Whether you dwell on, I don't fucking know, the asteroids floating around in space hitting the earth is still going to spin and the sun's going to rise and everything else is still going to happen the way it's meant to happen. I guess, here's how I can explain it. I'm not boxed into a religion. I'm not. I believe in many, many things. I feel validity in lots of things. But I'm going to use religion for a minute to showcase what I'm trying to say. So in the Bible, it talks about God created all things. Created. Past tense. It doesn't say continually creating all things. That means that all of creation is done. So you dwelling on what you don't know doesn't matter because everything's going to play out the way it's meant to play out. Make sense? Focusing on the karma is being a doer. what we need to do is say to ourselves, I am not the doer. And again, let the world spin as it does. Once you allow the thinking to stop, you see all that is around you. You just observe all that is and allow. You don't think, judge, none of that. When you can let your mind be serene and calm, no ripples on the pond, right? Just then all reality just comes as it has always been meant to. Happiness comes, peace comes, love comes, understanding comes. Mentally let go of the conditions and it all comes. Release the idea of being the mind, the body, the doer, and watch it all flow into you because it was always going to. You trying to control the flow is actually what was hindering it all along. So yeah, stay awake in this reality, but don't associate yourself with it. That's how we realize the true meaning of the self. Insight. And suddenly, a new growth silently begins, and the soul is ready. The merging of the self brings a brand new beginning to what it means to be human, what it means to be alive. Consciously living beings, not doings. And sometimes it might be fucking hard because you are expanding. Bravo! But sometimes the people around you, well, they aren't. They aren't. And in this time, it's important not to go back to your old game of peekaboo. So very important, you guys. And here's why. As you embrace all that is you, you emit a radiant energy, a fucking passion, a fucking magic, for Christ's sake, that is so deep and complex, okay, that, for lack of a better word, small minds, okay, that are still stuck in the old ways of doing, they're not going to be able to understand you anymore. Think of it like this. Like when we learn to swim, right? And you're kind of getting good at it and you think you're a boss, but you're only swimming and used to being in the shallow end of the pool. And then it's time to go to the deep end, and the deep water, it can and it will be at first fucking intimidating, right? It's like that. So it's important for you to realize, you, the grower, or the fucking swimmer, I guess, is to remember one thing. Don't dwell. It doesn't fucking matter if they don't know who you are. Nope, it doesn't matter at all, because what matters is you know who you are. You know. And honestly, I think that's why my guides gave me a little bitch slap earlier, because I cannot tell you how long it took me to grasp and acknowledge and also fucking appreciate that about myself. That hurdle, you guys, that one has been one of my favorite hurdles to clear. I fucking know who I am. And I love who I am. I don't care if someone else doesn't see it or doesn't get me. I don't care anymore, because if they can't see it, then they're not meant to. And that simply means they're not meant to be a part of my journey, my life. And I don't know. I can't wait for those of you who are going through ending your own metaphorical game of peekaboo to clear this hurdle for yourself. Just simply because you deserve to. To me, I welcome a world where we can all be who we are. I don't know. I mean, I love the small amount of diversity we're allowed to have in society now. I can't wait until it's more of a reality for a collective energy of just offering love to all. Just for being. Thriving as a true soul as they were meant to. No more striving. I don't know. Sounds pretty good to me. But a little here and a little there, I guess, for now. But personally, I'm already noticing more and more. I see a great shift happening, even in people around me. They do. Or you know what? Maybe the shift has come from within me. And I see the same, but with new perspectives, new eyes, new life, and for me, new love. I don't know. Either way, it's a great fucking time to be awake. There's a saying, I think, that speaks to this feeling perfectly, and it goes something like this. And I'm ad-libbing here, okay? But it's like, there comes a day when you realize that turning the page is the best fucking feeling in the world. Because you realize there's so much fucking more to the book than the damn page that you've been stuck on for so long. Yep. That's the truest true I can tell you. Because you're healing, growing, and filling those cracks that once left you feeling broken. In whatever way you felt broken, right? And guys, again, there will be loss during this stage too. Please don't think there won't. Please do not think there won't. Again, embracing and trusting what the universe is flowing to you is an important step in the ascension process. And yes, I'll tell you why. Because some people, even some places, they only resonate with the you that was broken. See, some can only identify with that version. And sadly, some loved only that version because you were, I don't know, I guess easily more beneficial to them in that energy. So don't let that stop you from moving forward. Don't. Allow it to be what it was and know that it taught you something. But you don't have to dwell where you don't feel you need to be. And I can't tell you what it's teaching you. I can't. I don't have that answer for you. But your higher self will. If you listen, it'll tell you. And sometimes when we feel like we go through life and we never have true support or love, if we can clear our own hurdles, okay, and heal, we learn that we never felt we had that because we actually were that. We were that true support and love all along. And not only for ourselves, but oftentimes for many others we met along our paths. We just didn't realize it. And if we can realize it, be true to that as we progress towards wherever our soul paths lead, then we will continue on in our happy infantileness and no longer hide from our childlike ways, because as we grow, we know we are forever children. Extensions of Source that are just learning every day. So, I guess trust in your innocence is a damn good way to start. Again, I just feel like we can just embrace being ourselves. Like, we can all begin to feel happier in the presence of those outside of ourselves. Some may call me naive. I don't give a shit. I know better. I do, because I'm in a state of flow. And the opinions of those who are not yet to their own understanding can't block me from mine. They cannot add cracks to the foundations I've already filled with the faith of all that I've come to know and continue to keep learning more of as I go. You know? Mother Teresa, she said once, spread love wherever you go. Let no one ever come to you without leaving happier. I don't know. I just love that. I do. I try to live that myself. And I don't know. Again, I cannot wait until we just can embody that energy easily. I don't know. It's about allowing. Why is it so hard for us to just allow? I don't know. So yeah, it's a wonderful new chapter to begin today, don't you think? So I say, let's be unshakable in our own truths. Let's align with all that speaks to our highest self and its truest form of expression, be it a job or people or places. Allow your roots to go deeper into your soul's knowing than ever before, and watch and see that magic that comes from within you. Insight. You're the only person who can, my friend. You're the only one who can for you. And I'm telling you, if you do, you'll feel that shift I mentioned earlier. It's like just when you think it's the end, a blessing arrives in the perfect time, right? And you sit there and you go, oh my gosh, I'm so lucky. What good luck. But it's not luck, you guys. No. You'll know from within that you're in the flow state of all that is. And that doesn't have to be luck, because you're being protected and guided, blessed, and you are truly loved and cared for by the universe every step of the way, all along this path. And because you are the universe, one with all that is, and you finally care about you, you know this truth. And that is all that fucking matters. So, I guess, welcome to it, my friends. Embrace this, the new game of life that you have begun, and with heart, eyes, and mind open, trusting and knowing, you truly know you're exactly where you're meant to be. And all that is meant to come to you is happily flowing into your energy. I, for one, am so happy to see all these energies opening up around me. So yeah, if you're healing and growing, bravo. I welcome you to this new journey. Whatever phase you're in your own life, embrace it. The newest game version we play, okay, as conscious beings in this life, is all about changing our perspective. Isn't that what Peekaboo is? A game of perspective? Our perspective of what is, and our perspective of ourselves. And when we do this, when we allow ourselves to see this perspective, we can only take forward motion. Forward fucking motion into all our true self knows and has always been trying to get us to see from behind those metaphorical hands we place in front of our own faces. Where we were once even afraid to peek through the fingers, right? We now walk with our heads high. Just knowing and trusting our own eyes and listening to our own hearts. Taking chances and giving in to the flow of life. And it is this simple act of being that brings the emotional state to us that we seek. Remember, if you be it, it will come. If you be, it will come. I don't know. If you need a little bit more push for yourself, okay? What's coming to me is Mars. Mars. Yeah, the fucking planet. Mars, the god of war, right? Usually the urge to fight. But Mars is actually retrograde right now. And basically it means it's backspinning from its usual energy, to put it in easy terms. This is an astrology lesson. But from this energy standpoint, what that means simply is the timing is right. Take a fool's journey. Don't fight it. Just fucking jump. Jump into whatever is calling your soul. Even if you don't know for sure. Because what I'm hearing is it's time you believe that whatever you're seeking, there is still a chance. So just take the leap. I mean, if I can do it, if I can do it, so can you. So can you. So yeah, let's play Peekaboo. Again. Real this time. By being truly present, and when we do, it's as simple as, Peekaboo, I finally see the real you. This was a long one, huh? Ooh, but so damn important. I hope you take away whatever your soul needs from it today. I do. I send you all so much love, my friends. That's all for now. I'll talk to you all later. Bye.